Hey, Eric Dunbach here. Welcome to this video called Silver Bullet Script Overview. Let's get going.
The one script we use, the script goes like this. If it's in a metro area that's a little highly populated, a little more fast-paced, it would be, hey, good morning, Eric Dunbach here calling for Joe. Is he nearby? You can just use your first name if you like, so it would be, hey, good morning, Eric here calling for Joe. Is he nearby? What did you hear in my approach when I said that? What did you notice about the way I said it? Familiarity, exactly. Which is to say, I want to leave the impression that I'm just somebody calling in who has an existing relationship. You know, I don't want to sound like a stranger calling in for the first time. Anything else you observed in my approach?
Upbeat.
Yeah, upbeat, very positive. That's right. Now we have a second script that we use, and it works better for slightly slower-paced rural areas. And it would go like this. Good morning, Eric Dunbach here from Is Joe Nearby? What did you notice about that approach?
Still familiar, but slower.
Yep, a little slower, still familiar, just a little slower, still very warm, very friendly. That's exactly what you want to do. So the gatekeeper at that point will say, either pass you through to the decision maker, or will usually say, and who is this? Again, you say, well, again, Eric Dunbach, business coach, and I want to have a chat with Joe to see how I can help him become a better leader, increase his business cash flow. Is he nearby? Now, what did you notice in those two bits of scripting there?
You emphasized that you had something important to talk about.
That's right. In the first script, I emphasized the importance of what I had to talk about, but I didn't disclose too much. What I'm trying to do is convey the impression that what I want to talk about may actually be above her or his rank, and in fact, that's often the case. What we're going to talk about is confidential, and probably this person doesn't really need to know what we're going to talk about. But if you have a gatekeeper who's really empowered and really is trying to keep you away from the decision maker, and they ask again, you can say, hey, listen, yep, I'm Eric Dunbach calling from here in Lancaster, and I want to have a chat with Joe to see how I can help him become a better leader and increase his business cash flow. So is he nearby, please? There is an expectation that you're going to put me through because what I have to say is very important. So a lot of times it'll be, well, sure, please hold. Say, okay, thanks. Now sometimes they'll say, well, listen, he's not available right now. Can I take a message and send you a voicemail? You say, well, you could do that unless there's a better time to reach him. When's he usually around? Now, I like to do that because I'm agreeing to being put through to voicemail, but I also want to extract a little information. So you'll notice in the script I said, yeah, you could do that unless there's a better time to reach him. And then I pause. When's he usually around? And that, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they'll actually give up a bit of information about when he can be reached. And they'll say, great, I'll try back then. Go ahead and put me through to voicemail. Now, I have never thought it was a good idea to leave voicemail messages. And the reason I never left voicemail messages is because a couple things happened that early on taught me that it wasn't a good idea. One of the things was I would leave a message, and every once in a while I'd get a call back, and it would totally catch me off guard, either when I was working by myself and saw a strange number coming in, had no idea what it was, answered the phone, and it was a prospect calling back. Hey, you called me, left a message. I don't know who you are, but what's this about? Boom, and then I'm caught kind of flat-footed. Or the other thing is, if I leave a message and I want to call back the next day, and I call in and I say to the gatekeeper, hey, Eric Dunbach here calling for Joe, is he nearby? She puts me on mute and says, hey, Joe, Eric Dunbach, you know anything about that? Yeah, he called up the message yesterday. I'm not interested. So I didn't want to precondition the decision maker to reject my call by leaving a message, and so that was just what I did. So I'd always say, yeah, look, I'll try back then. Go ahead and send me the voicemail. And what I would do is I would listen to the voicemail message, listen for cell phone numbers or any other information that could give me an in. So, hey, this is Joe calling for Joe's Plumbing. I'm out right now, but I'm usually available in the mornings from 7 to 8, or I'm out right now, but if it's an emergency, you can give me a call on the cell phone. And I always take the cell phone number down, and you know what? I always call cell phone numbers because it is an emergency. The emergency is they need business coaching. They may or may not know it, but I'm here to tell them they need it. So I will get cell phone numbers and use them. That's my approach to voicemail. What I would generally do if I had a chance is I'd say, hey, to the gatekeeper, one last thing. If I can just ask, hey, I don't want to waste Joe's time. What's the number one challenge you see in the business these days? Just out of curiosity, so that when I call him, have some sense of what's going on. And if there's nothing going on, that's fine. But what's the number one challenge you see in the business these days? Sometimes the gatekeeper, well, listen, I'm not interested in talking about that. Well, okay, that's fine. No problem. I'll just call Joe back. But sometimes the gatekeeper would start talking. Amazing. I actually built a relationship with a gatekeeper. I remember on one occasion, I started talking with the gatekeeper, asking her some questions along these lines. And I was amazed because we actually knew someone in common. What are the chances of that? But it happens. So we found out we knew someone in common. We struck up a chat, and I said, so tell me about the business. What are you guys doing, and what's your niche? And she started talking, and pretty soon she was giving me the whole lowdown, the whole scoop in the business. And would you believe it took 3 to 4 months, but that gal finally got me in, and I got an appointment with that guy and closed him on the spot, first diag. You want to take the time to strike up conversations with the gatekeeper. You can also ask questions, hey, from your perspective, how are things going in the business? So they'll talk to you, and don't tell the gatekeeper about what you do and how you do it. Just ask questions, say, yeah, okay, yeah, we hear that sort of thing a lot. Yeah, real common, yep. Well, thanks for sharing that with me. Listen, I'll call back later for Joe, but listen, really good talking to you, and we'll talk again, okay? Thanks, and bye for now. So that's the relationship with the gatekeeper. Your objective is to establish trust with the gatekeeper, so you start to have an advocate, and next time you call back, you can strike up another friendly chat, begin to build a relationship, and eventually that gatekeeper will try to get you through. So the gatekeeper at some point passes you through to the decision maker. Now your objective in this first 3 seconds with the decision maker is to establish trust and earn the next 30 seconds, and the scripting is very much the same. Hey, good morning. Joe, Eric Dumbach here from How's It Going Today? Awesome. Okay, now, if he stays on the phone and doesn't blow you off, congratulations, you just earned the next 30 seconds. And so in the next 30 seconds with the decision maker, your objective is to ask the decision maker questions until they disclose their needs. So again, you've earned their trust in the first 3 seconds by sounding confident. Hey, good morning, Eric Dumbach here from How's It Going this morning, Joe? Fantastic. Good to hear. And then you go right into your next 30 seconds. Now, we've got 2 purpose statements we've tested and measured over the years for the first 30 seconds, and let me just tell you what they are again. We've broken it down into metro and rural. We would use these 2 different 30-second statements depending on what kind of an area we were in. So let me give you the first one for metro area. Hey, Joe, Eric Dumbach here. We sent you an invitation to our upcoming Business Accelerator workshop. Did you get that? Okay, no problem. Well, that's exactly why I'm calling. Joe, I'm calling to let you know I'm hosting this workshop to share some business strategies that help many of our clients in your area, and you'll learn how to grow your profits by at least 61% per year and build a team to run the business for you so you can get back some time for hobbies and families. So just calling to find out if this workshop will help you. So tell me a little about your business, Joe. Now, what you heard there was the purpose statement. The purpose statement was, I'm calling to tell you that I'm hosting a workshop. I hit them with 61% increase in profit, run a business so you can get your time back for hobbies and family, and I'm calling to find out if this workshop will help you. Boom, and then I go right into the first general question. Now, if it's a rural area, we'll use slightly different scripting. Goes like this. So, Joe, calling from here in Lancaster, and we sent you an invitation to our upcoming Business Accelerator workshop. Did you get that? All right, no problem. That's why I'm calling. So I'm hosting this workshop to share business strategies that have helped a lot of our clients here in Lancaster, and you'll learn how to grow your business by 61% per year and build a team to run the business for you so you can get back some time for your hobbies and family. So I'm just calling to find out if this workshop will help you. So not real different. It's just a little slower. We use the name of the town so that they know we're local, and we use our first and second name, Eric Dumbach here. So it's a little more formal, name of the town, a little slower. And so we say at the end, so I'm calling to find out if this workshop will help you. So, hey, tell me a little bit about your business. In the first 30 seconds, you're giving your purpose statement, and it's a lead-in to the first general question, which opens up the door for conversation. So the bottom line is you've got about 30 to 45 seconds to state your purpose, why should they spend time on the phone with you, and then to get right into the first general question. So tell me a little bit about your business. One of the questions that we've tested and measured and have had some success with both here and in Europe, actually, is so tell me the story of your business. That's a little more invasive. Won't probably work as well in the metro areas because it sounds a little more personal. Tell me the story of your business. That implies your history, your background, your family. So you can use either of those depending on where you're working, but that's the first general question. Now, there's a bunch of objections you'll generally get at this mark, and how you handle these objections will determine whether or not you get past the first 30 seconds with the decision maker. I've found that most coaches, new coaches, can generally get through the first 3 seconds, even if you have a really good, strong purpose statement, which emphasizes 61% per year, building a team to run the business for you so you can get your time back for hobbies and families. Even if you have a good, strong purpose statement in the first 30 seconds, your ability to overcome objections at this stage right here will make or break the call, whether you go from 30 seconds right into 3 minutes or whether you lose it right here. Here are the most common objections you'll get right at this place, and I'll tell you what they are and how to get past them. The first one that I have on my list here is real common. All right, so you're going to run a seminar and teach me all this stuff, but who are you? What do you do? Tell me a little bit about your background. So what are they doing? Well, they're just really testing you to see if you're credible, and they want to know more about you. This is especially prevalent in the metro areas. They just want to know a little bit more about you. They're kind of jaded, a little more hardened. So what you do at that point is you prepare a few of the hottest items from your coach brag sheet. Now, if you haven't been to our boot camp, we have one coming up This is one of the things that we always do with new coaches, because most coaches simply do not do this well. You must be prepared to share your hottest bio points on the fly quickly with the prospect. Toward the end of my firm building process where I was building my firm, when someone would say something like this, I'd say, oh, look, sure, yeah, let me tell you a little about me. I grew up right here in Lancaster County, entrepreneurial family. My dad was a wonderful businessman, real estate investor, so I learned to love the game of small business just like you, and I guess you could say it runs my blood, but I was in small business in the construction industry for a number of years, and I actually was a pastor for 7 years in the local community. Actually, I was a pastor, but I decided to go back into business, and I love training and teaching people and coaching people, and so I developed a business coaching firm, and we've grown this firm at about 150% for the last 3 or 4 years, and we've earned 5 awards, and I was a Global Coach of the Year in 2004, and so we've grown the most respected business coaching firm in the Western Hemisphere, and we do that because we've gotten great results for our clients, and we just have a lot of raving fan clients here in Lancaster, and we love helping people make more money and have a better business. And so that's a little bit about what I've done in the past. So tell me a little bit more about your business, and let's see if there's some way we can help you. Boom, and off we go. And so every time you answer an objection, it always has to resolve to, so tell me a little bit more about your business. So it's always got to end with that question. And so that's the first objection. Now for you, what we need to do is make sure that your bio is prepared so that you can deliver in 30 to 40 seconds the key points and achievements that you have enjoyed in your career so that their head is spinning. What you want them to think is, dang, this guy or this gal is good. Wow, I mean, this is a really accomplished business person. Okay, I'll listen to what you have to say because you've earned the right by the life you've lived and the success that you've enjoyed. So that's what you're doing with that first objection. Second objection we'll often hear is, listen, I'm too busy right now. I'm too busy. Sounds interesting, more profit, but I get these kind of calls all the time. I'm just too busy. I'm sorry. Say, and at that stage, they've got just enough politeness that they're going to give you another 5 seconds, folks. They're going to give you 5 more seconds. So you'll say, look, all right, I understand you're too busy. When's a better time to chat then? Or, listen, are you actually always going to be this busy, realistically? And I've found that for a certain percentage of them, the prospects, this stops them cold in their tracks. It's a pattern interrupt. They actually don't expect you to push back and challenge their delusion, And you have to say it very nurturingly with a smile and a chuckle and, sometimes a little giggle. And so, I understand, but let me just ask you a question. I've worked with a lot of business owners over the years, and when is it not going to be busy for you in your business? Look, I'm always this busy. So now you've got them going, and you say, well, look, listen, I just want to tell you something, Joe. Actually, that's one of the main things that I need to help you fix. If I could just ask, how do you plan to get control of your schedule if you're always this busy? How are you going to do it? I've worked with a lot of business owners over the year, and it's always going to get better, they say. But at some stage, as business owners, we need to learn how to get control of our business, build good quality teams, and actually build an asset that works without us so we're not busy all the time. Are you open to learning some more about how to do that, Joe? Because I'll teach you if you're open. Are you open to learning more? Okay, well, Joe, tell me a little bit more about your business. Just tell me the story of your business. How'd you get started? Okay, so blast them through that objection. And one of the other objections you'll get sometimes is, listen, I'm just not interested. All right, I understand. But are you open to learning how I can help you increase your profits by at least 61% in the next year or so? It'll take us just a few minutes to talk about it. I like to use that because even the busiest person or the person who's most confident in themselves sometimes stop in their tracks when I catch their interest by telling them that I'd talk to them about how to increase their profits by 61% per year. And so that's an objection that we can overcome. Sometimes we'll hear this one, look, yeah, sounds interesting, but I worked with a consultant before who did this and this and this. They came in and before I knew it, I was in about $20,000 or $25,000, and I didn't really get any value. It was the worst thing. I felt so. I'll never do that again. You say, look, well, Joe, you're right. We hear that a lot. The good news is that I'm not a consultant. I'm actually a coach. It's a whole different thing. I'm actually amazed, Joe, how many people do burn through $20,000 to $40,000 with consultants, and all they get is a big old book to sit in their shelf. Did you already buy your shelf ornament then? Is it still sitting on the shelf? Yeah, all right. Smile and chuckle and usually giggle a little bit. I can usually get them laughing. I say, well, all right, listen. There are a lot of guys like that. I got to tell you, I live right here in Lancaster, just like you. I don't know about you. I was born and raised here. Okay, I'm not a fly-by-night consultant. I got to deliver the real deal, the real value to my clients each and every day if I expect to make a living. I'm building a firm right here. I'm going to be around here for years. So if I can't add value to you, we've got nothing more to talk about. But I can assure you that this is the real deal. And I personally mentor business owners like you in the methods that have made me successful. And so can I assume you're open to learning how to improve your business? Well, yeah, I can always learn some new things. Well, great. So tell me a little bit about your business. Let me see how I can help you. So now we're back into that first general question. Tell me about you. One of the other objections we'll hear sometimes, well, listen, that sounds great, but I'm too small. I've only been in business X number of months. And you say, well, the great news is that Business coaching is designed for small to mid-sized businesses just like yours. I was a very successful business executive in my previous career, or I've been a successful business coach for this long, and I've left my ivory tower now. I'm actually on a mission to help small businesses just like you. So tell me a little bit about your business. One of the other objections we'll get a lot is, well, listen, how will you do this? I mean, it sounds good. 61% increase in profits per year, build a team. How do you do all that? The way business coaching works, Joe, is that what I do is I combine my personal success and my knowledge and wisdom from years in business and my background in business with the world-class systems that's developed working with tens of thousands of business owners like you around the world. So what we do is we take our knowledge about how business works, and we personally coach and mentor and train you to apply that in your business. We get great results with our clients. So tell me a little bit more about your business. I'd like to know if there's anything that could be done to help you out here. And if that's not enough, sometimes they'll give you this objection. They'll say, well, listen, it all sounds interesting, but I just can't see how you could possibly teach me anything about the auto parts remanufacturing industry because I'm an expert in this industry. I've been at it for 15, 20 years. What do you know about that industry? Well, to be perfectly truthful, Joe, not too much. And the good news for you is that doesn't matter. Because here's how coaching works. You are the expert in your industry. There's probably no one in the county that knows more about what you're doing than you. But I'm an expert in growing profitable, healthy businesses, and I've done that all my life and all my career, and I'm going to teach you how to leverage your expertise to produce the maximum amount of profit and lifestyle for you and your family. That's what I'm going to do. So you're going to be the expert, I'm going to be the coach, and we're going to get some stuff done. So are you open to learning some new things about how to do business better? Well, I guess we can, all of us can afford to learn new things. Great. So Joe, tell me about your business. Now, those are the objections. If you'll learn to handle those common objections, you will be breaking through more consistently to get into the next 3 minutes than you ever thought was possible. And sometimes I say, look, that sounds good, but I simply can't afford it. I have no money, and I'm sure you're very expensive. Well, listen, as a matter of fact, we do get paid very well for what we do. So if you're as broke as you say you are, you probably can't afford it. But let me just tell you this. You would be surprised how many businesses we've been able to turn into really profitable businesses because of what we do and what we know. So if you're willing, I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes and see if there is any potential for profit growth in your business. And if not, what have you lost but a few minutes of your time talking to a world-class business coach, and what have I lost but just an opportunity? So tell me a little about your business. I'd like to know a little more.
Comment. I wish I'd had this conversation earlier today because I actually did leave messages today. Okay. And I actually did have a business owner call me back, and I was caught flat-footed and blew it. So, yeah, Eric, you're absolutely right on with that one.
So when you're starting out and you haven't built the number one coaching firm, what things are you emphasizing in your bio?
I got into see, here's the thing. I started my business coaching practice when I was 31, and I had 3 years at best in the business community after I graduated college, and I was a pastor for 7 years. So if anybody had a lousy bio to do this, it was me. I had never owned a business in all my life, never been responsible for employees and a profit and loss statement and making payroll in my life, never had a sales position, never managed more than 2 people at a time. I shouldn't have been successful in this business except for the grace of God. It was almost like I was building my resume to be a business coach as I went, which is kind of embarrassing. For most people, you've got a great resume. You've got an entire history in corporate or running businesses in a past life. And what we need to do is, and we do this constantly, our callers will say, listen, we keep getting this objection, and his bio is crap. The guy's amazing, but his bio is crap, meaning there's nothing in here that we can just blow people away with. So I'll give you some advice now, but seriously, I would urge you, come to our boot camp, because what we do is we teach you how to develop a bio that sells you, and then teach you how to sell yourself. Okay, but here's just a couple seconds. I'll at least tell you this much. Look at your professional career in stages or eras, and for each era in your professional career, pick the number one most important, significant achievement that you can back with numbers and or percentages, and capture it in a concise bullet point, and do that 4, 5, 6 times. And, as you've gone through your career chronologically. And that's what you want to do, so that literally in 30 seconds you just blow them away with these achievements. Very concise, pithy statements of what you did. And then as you deliver it in story form. Well, hey, I started my career in this. I started my career in this business, and I was part of the business, and I was in operations. And even though I was young, one of the things I did is I improved the profitability of that business unit by 35% by what I did. And then I was promoted to general manager of the entire company, and I grew that company. I grew that company's top line by 33% on average over 5 years, and grew the profits. And then I went out into business partnership with a friend, and we started a business in that particular niche, and we grew that business to about 10 million in sales and then flipped it for about 4 times earnings. So that was really good. And I went and did some consulting after that and made just really great money and just had a good time doing it. But then I decided to become a business coach and take all the wonderful things that I've done in business and package up in a way that I could use to help small business owners. And that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm about. Tell me a little about your business. So that's the way you package it up. Once you get good at mastering these objections, find yourself getting into more of the 3-minute conversations with decision makers. In that 3-minute conversation with the decision maker, your objective is to now actually begin to dig deeper for their pain so that you can discover how you can help them. See, what a lot of coaches do, they start with a purpose statement, hey, I'm calling because I'm doing a seminar and we're going to teach you how to grow your business by 61% and teach you how to build a team, or say whatever you say, and then a lot of coaches just try to take the registration. Man, that doesn't work, or try to set the diet. It doesn't work. In this 3-minute part of the call, your objective is to get them to disclose pain, So the way you do it is you ask questions, and I have 10 questions that I use, and I don't always use all 10 in a row. Sometimes I pick and choose, but the basic progression is always the same. So tell me a little about your business, and they talk, and then you go to the next question. So unless they've already told you, you'll say, so what exactly do you do? I mean, what's your niche? What's your main focus? And they'll tell you, okay, that's good. So how long have you been in business? 10 years, did you say? Yeah, okay, yeah. And then you became the owner of it, so you've owned it for 8 years. Got it, okay. So tell me, Joe, what do you love the most about your business? And this is where they start talking and they tell you what they love. And you ask another question. So what is it that you would say sets you apart from your competitors? If I was going to buy from you, why would I buy from you? And they'll tell you and talk to you. And so what is it that makes you absolutely the best at what you do? What is your competitive edge, your wow factor, the X factor, that unique selling proposition? What makes you the best? And then they'll tell you some more. Okay, now those first 5 questions that I just gave you, what do you notice about the quality of those questions?
All stuff you'll get positive responses out of.
Beautiful. All those questions will elicit a positive response generally. And I'll tell you why this is important. Who's the business owner talking to on a daily basis? He's talking to an unhappy employee who's disgruntled, threatening with leaving, or causing problems. He's talking with an unhappy customer who didn't get his order on time or has a quality problem. He's talking to an accountant who has bad news about his tax return and didn't put enough money away. Talking to the bookkeeper who's saying we're out of cash or we're going to need to borrow. Talking to the banker who's saying where are my payments. Talking to the wife, you're home late again. Talking to the kids who's getting into trouble, not getting good grades. I mean, business ownership can be a lonely life, and this is the life people are living. So you get in there and you start talking to them about what's great about their business, how wonderful they are. You say, well done. You've been in business for 8 years. Well done. Congratulations, man. Well done. Why do you say that? Well, a lot of businesses don't make it past year 5. So you're obviously doing a lot right. So what sets you apart from your competitors? And they tell you, well, that's awesome, man. Where were you when I needed you? I should have had you 3 months ago when I needed to buy one of those. Really? Yeah, man. Let me tell you about my experience. I used to do this on the phone all the time. I would say, well, let me tell you about my experience. And I would start actually telling them about the experience of a competitor who I didn't like or did a bad job. This doesn't happen all the time, but when you can, you use this. And they say, oh, yeah, well, we would never do that. We do this, and this. And you're going, well, that's awesome, man. Well done. Now, what's happening there as you're complimenting them and giving them positive strokes and telling them how great they are? What's going on? What are they thinking?
Building rapport.
Man, you're building rapport. And, this is not manipulative. This is not insincere. This is the truth. I mean, by the way, if you're not in the coaching business to have the privilege of delivering that, then you're in the wrong business. I remember one of my clients told me one time, he said, man, he said to me, I have been looking for you for the last decade of my life, I've been looking for someone who would see my business in me and believe in me and believe in my potential and help me get there. You are a dealer of hope. That's what you are. I pay you a big check, $3,500 a month, because you provide me with hope, inspiration, and direction in my life. That's what he told me. I mean, so you got to get this relationship off on the right foot and talk this way. Talk about it. The amazing thing is, have you ever noticed if you just sincerely compliment the business owner, oh, that's great, you must be doing a great job, well done, your business, and you're talking like this, what will they eventually do psychologically without even knowing they're doing it? After you've complimented them for 5 minutes, what will they do?
Challenges.
They will, 9 times out of 10, they'll start disclosing their challenges without even you asking. It's amazing. And I will be absolutely, free-flowing compliments. If they don't start disclosing naturally, which a lot of them will do, then I'll say, well, listen, that's awesome, man. So how are things going for you at the moment in the business? I mean, what's happening right now? So a lot of times they'll start disclosing. So how do you feel about the results you've been getting financially in the business recently? They'll start telling you, okay, all right, good. Yeah. Well, what would you say are the 3 biggest frustrations or challenges that you're facing at the moment? And they'll tell you some of those. Okay, so what would be the main area that you'd like to improve in the business? If we had to pick just one area to focus on, of those 3, what would it be? Okay, yeah, great. Okay, understand. Yeah, that makes sense. Would that be the number one thing that keeps you awake at night, do you think? Okay, all right, so that's something we'll focus on first. Now, what have you noticed in the last 15 seconds here as I was just role-playing that? What did you notice about my language?
Oh, you were providing hope, solutions.
Absolutely providing hope. What did you notice specifically about the language I was using to describe the future?
We.
Yeah. This is the point right here where you can generally start to introduce what we call we language, very briefly. You can use 4 different kinds of language. You can use I language, you language, they language, or we language. I language is, well, listen, what I'd like to do is I'd like to come in and do this in the business. And then the response is going to be, so tell me a little bit more about your background and what you know. Or you can use you language. So what you can do is this. And then what you can do is this, this, and this. And then when you're done with that, what you can do is this. And then the question you're going to get is, okay, well, that's great. So do you have any books that, that I could buy or anything you could send me? Do you have any website I can go and learn more about what you some of these ideas? They're going to want to go do it on their own. Well, thanks for that. Those are some really good ideas. This has been a good call. Thank you for your time. And they'll hang up. You'll never hear from them again. They'll go out and try it. Or if you say, well, listen, what we do with our clients is this, and then they do this, and they do this, and we do that for them, and they do this. And at the end, they're inspired. And they say, well, that sounds great, but I don't think it'll work for me, but thanks for that. That's some good stuff to think about. Now, what we want is the we language. So what we're going to need to do is this. And would that be the most important thing you think that we need to focus on? Yeah, I think if we focus on that, that would be pretty good. Okay, that's great. Well, let's work on that. Now, you want to listen very carefully in this 3-minute conversation where you're asked, by the way, this particular section of the conversation can go a little longer than 3 minutes. It can go to 5 or 7. What you're looking for in here is you're looking for an indication of whether their pain falls into the time, team, or money bucket. Time, team, or money. And then what I have is I have a whole section of questions related to time, related to team, or related to money. And these specific questions are what I focus on in the 30 minutes. What I'm doing is in that 3-minute section, I'm getting them to disclose their need, and I worked all the way through those questions until he told me the number one thing that's keeping them up at night. And I'll generally say, so if we were going to work on one thing, it would be this. And it's amazing. Even after 3, 5, 7 minutes, they'll say, yeah, that would be the one thing. So when they disclose that need, man, congratulations, you have earned your right into this 30-minute conversation. So those 10 questions that I was taking you through need to resolve in, what is the number one thing. Then you go into the time, team, money buckets, and this is where you get into the 30-minute call. And so just real briefly, I'm just going to illustrate just one funnel. And let's just say the problem is money. I'd say, okay, so the number one challenge is cash flow. Okay, if we could solve that cash flow problem, that would be the most important thing. Yeah, that would. Okay. All right, so let me just ask, what kind of money have you been taking out of the business for yourself and your family? Well, Eric, I've been as little as possible because I've actually been borrowing more and more, and my line of credit's been going up, my credit cards. But I've been taking out about $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month, Joe. How do you feel about that? Oh man, it's not so good, Eric. Not so good. Well, Joe, if I can ask, man, that's got to be creating some stress at home, isn't it? I mean, what kind of stress is that bringing home to you? Well, it's pretty bad, Eric, to be honest. I mean, that's just not so good. Yeah, I got to think you're probably paying some of your employees better than you're paying yourself, aren't you? Well, yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, listen, how much more money would you like to be taking home? I mean, what kind of money do you really need? Eric, I probably need about $60,000 just to be in comfort zone. All right. Well, let me ask you this, Joe. In order for us to do that, and by the way, notice the us. In order for us to do that, the one critical question that I've got to ask is, on a scale of 1 to 100%, what capacity are you running your business at right now? Are you running your business at half capacity? Your assets and your throughput is only running about 50%. Are you at 100% or 120? Where are you? Well, Eric, I'm probably at about 60%. We could probably put a whole bunch more business. All right. Well, listen. So, what are you doing to grow your business? What strategy have you got in place? Well, listen. I mean, we just take good care of our customers, Eric, and we do a good job, and sometimes we get referrals, so it's going pretty well, Well, okay, so Joe, have you got any kind of a marketing plan in place that actually has specific strategies to bring in more leads? And then the leads that come in, to actually convert more of them into contracts? And then decrease the average dollar sale by selling more of your services and products along with that? And do you have any strategies in place to communicate regularly with your database and get your customers coming back more often? Do you have any specific strategies that you have planned out and you're executing against you and your team? Tell me about your strategy. Well, we don't really have anything like that. We have a bunch of strategies, and they'll tell you strategies that they're doing. Okay, but do you have a written plan, and are you testing and measuring the results of the plan? Make sure you're hitting it. No, I suppose we're not. All right, so how much would you like to grow your business next year, or this year? How much would you like to grow your business? You're at 60% right now. How much do you want to grow it? Well, geez, let's just get this thing running at 100%, man. Okay, how much more money would that put in your pocket if we were doing that? Oh, that would give me my 60 grand right there. Have you done that before? Yeah, actually, we did that before a couple of years ago when the economy was hotter. Yeah, we did that. Okay, all right. So, what do you think that the lack of a plan is costing you in profits and hard work? Well, it's got to be costing me 20 grand and all this stress at home. Okay, so are you open to me teaching you how to build a marketing plan into your business that's going to get us where we need to go? Okay, yeah. Look. That's good. I'm open to that. All right. What will that do for the relationship with your wife? Sure, that'll relieve a lot of stress. Will that be a top priority for us to work on? Yep, it would. Great. So what else do you want to work on? Anything else going in your business? Now we're going to grow your business by from 60 to 100% of capacity. That's going to represent, by golly, that's going to represent good 60-70% growth. Okay. Is there anything else that's going to crop up that we're going to need to work on your business just to handle that kind of growth? Well, yeah, actually, Eric, it will. If I do that, I know I'm going to have to dump some of the people out on the floor who are producing this stuff because they're doing a lousy job and they're going to crack under the pressure, and I'm going to have to get some more people. And there's just no good people to get in this business. Oh, okay. Now, folks, what you'll notice there is I completed the question cycle and did a trial close, and they basically said yes to coaching. Then I said, what else is going to crop up? And now they're talking about team. Now I'm going to go through the team funnel, and I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times until they're saying something like this. Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. So, okay, if you can help me get a good team in, then we shouldn't have any problem. Great. Is there anything else, Joe, that is going to come up? Well, we'll probably need to get more funding because if we're going to grow like that, I'm going to need to get more equipment. All right, so Joe, what we're going to need to do is just manage your cash flow very carefully, and we might need to go out and get funding, or maybe we can do it through cash flow. But have you got a budget in place to really manage that? Yeah, I have a budget. Good. So I'll work with you on that. Is there anything else that could come up? No, I think if we do those things, we'll be good. All right, Joe. Well, I'm actually pretty encouraged. I think your business has really great potential. So that's awesome. Now, when you've got to that point, congratulations, because you've earned the 3 hours. And generally, they'll say this. They'll say, all right, so where do we go from here? You will generally hear that sort of thing when you have specifically demonstrated how you will help them. Remember, that's the question they're asking in the 30-minute call. How will you help me? And so if you give an adequate answer to that question, you will get the 3-hour commitment, either the DIAG or the group DIAG, a.k.a. seminar. So when they ask, what do we do next? Your objective is to book them into that CCS, a complimentary coaching session, or the seminar, and you basically follow a real simple script. You'll say, well, listen, our next step is to get together for a complimentary coaching session, a seminar. What we really need to do, Joe, is we need to do some due diligence. I need you to get to know me and my company, and I need to get to know you. And I'd like you to come to a seminar and learn more about what we do and review a packet of information I'm going to send to you, and my bio and a bunch of other information about coaching and a CD, and I'll send you a bunch of them. But I want you to review all that. If you decide coaching's not for you for some reason, okay, no big deal. I've only invested a half hour with you on the phone today. And I'm going to get to know you because I'm going to send you a questionnaire, and I want you to give me even more data so I can really understand what I'm facing here. But the bottom line is, if we both are feeling good, especially after you come to the seminar, that it might make sense to work together, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to invest 3 hours of my time doing what's called a complimentary coaching session with you, Joe. But I'm only going to do that under this condition, that you're serious enough about doing business together, and in good faith, I will meet with you for 3 hours. And at the end of that session, if it makes good sense economically for us to do business together, I'm going to get you enrolled in one of our coaching programs right away. Does that seem fair? A fair way to do it, Joe? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that seems fair to me. Okay, so let's set the complimentary coaching session for about 2 weeks out, 2.5 weeks. I have a seminar next week. Can you get to that one? It's either morning or afternoon, that date I was telling you about. Yep, absolutely. Great. We'll get you signed up. I'll need a questionnaire back from you. I want you to do your due diligence in my company. If it makes good sense, in a couple of weeks we'll get together and get you started in a program. Does it sound fair? Yep, that sounds good. Great. Last thing I need to know, Joe, is if we decide to do business together, I need every key player who's going to be a part of helping us do this thing be in that meeting. So I got to assume your wife is involved in the business some way? Well, not really. I make all the decisions. Well, okay. But in really serious decisions that involve the family, money, and other things, significant changes in the business, don't you think it would be good to have her buy-in and have her involvement? Well, yeah, I reckon it would. Great. So I'm going to need her to come to this complimentary coaching session too. Can you make sure that this date suits her? Yeah, I'm sure it won't be a problem. She's usually just home with the kid. Great. Well, that's great. So I'll get this questionnaire back from you. We'll make sure that your wife can get to that meeting. Any other key players on the team that need to be there? No, just the two of us will be fine. Great. I think that's about it, Joe. Any other questions you have for me before we see you at the seminar and the complimentary coaching session after that? Nope, no problem. Great. So there you go. That's how you do it. Now here's my question to you folks, you coaches. Will they show up to the seminar? Will they return the questionnaire? Will they do the diag? If you think so, why? Why will they do it?
Because we built the relationship.
Yeah, we built the relationship. They have a very clear sense of the journey I'm going to take them on. The reason a lot of coaches don't get people to show up at the seminars, don't get people to send the questionnaires back, don't get the diags, is because it just seems like all smoke and mirrors. Now the interesting thing is that when you actually get out to do the diag sounds and feels very much like what we just went through, only it's in much more depth. But the scripting and the entire routine is very, very much the same. So that's how it works. They're going to show up because I have successfully diagnosed their problems and given them hope.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.